Hey guys, welcome back to another video. And today we're checking out the content, betas, demos, and more in Pizza Tower. So strap in. But before we get into the actual video, I got most of the facts from the cutting room floor, so go check it out. And obviously I can't talk about everything from the cutting room floor, or this video will be hours upon hours long. And another thing, I will not be looking at every single build of Pizza Tower. Most of the builds are just other builds, but with minor differences. So if you want a complete look at every single build, just watch Tetrabit's gaming video on every single build or every documented build. So without further ado, let's start the bonus video. So before we talk about Pizza Tower the game, we have to talk about the one that came before it. Pizza Massacre, which was supposed to be a 2D Resident Evil style RPG with 2D sections in between, which is what you're seeing right now, where Peppino will have to fight pizza monsters. There's still not a lot of stuff that we currently know about this game, besides what you're seeing right now and some unused sprites of Peppino's attacks and idle animations. I'm gonna stop talking for a little while so you guys can see these animations. Well, for starters, in earlier builds, Peppino's super jump could be activated whenever you wanted, but the cost was the height of the super jump was really bad. Originally, you weren't actually supposed to destroy Pillar John. You were actually supposed to feed him all 5 toppings in order to get the secret treasure. The way to activate Pizza Time, at least in Demo 0, was to get the secret treasure and then the noise would come on screen and press a button and then Pizza Time would start up. The heat meter was a meter on the top left screen that was in Pizza Tower from February 25th, 2021 to June 13th, 2022. And what it basically does is that the more the meter heats up, the more the enemies get more difficult. But you get more points from killing them. But if you do get hurt by them, you lose more points. The Noise, Vigilante, and Pepperman were all supposed to be playable. The Noise had a pogo stick that after 2 bounces, the Noise could rocket off with a rocket, sending him flying. He also had a double jump and a wall jump. The Vigilante had a pistol, and Pepperman had a shoulder dash. Speaking of Pepperman, Pepperman was actually supposed to be a lot bigger. They reduced his size because, you guessed it, he was supposed to be a playable character. Before the Noise got his pogo stick, in earlier builds, the Noise basically played the same as Peppino, mainly because there actually was supposed to be a multiplayer mode in Pizza Tower, which is probably the main reason why the Noise's moveset was the same for so long. In this multiplayer mode, you fight to get the main lead in the stages, which basically means, opening doors and such. Besides that, is really just is you playing the same levels, just with the second player. There are some unique moves that you can do with the second player that you can't in single player, like this tag team role. But there are plans to have the Noise and multiplayer back in the future for updates. Well, for starters, here's some concept art. We have Hiccupy Peppino, Swimming Peppino, Injured Peppino, Gliding Peppino, Flat Peppino, and Dizzy Peppino. There actually is still more scrap transformations and earlier versions of transformations that are in the final game. First off, we have an early barrel sprite, which in early playtest builds was actually used to float on water. Next, we have a meteor transformation, which is kind of like the transformation in Oregano Desert. But unlike the transformation that we're going to be looking at later, this actually has a finished animation in the files. Next, we have the spinny transformation, which is also like the transformation in Oregano Desert. Next, we have the shy Peppino sprite, which would make Peppino unable to dash until he got hit by spikes. Next, we got caffeinated Peppino, which would make you go really fast without being able to dash until you get hit and drop your coffee. Next, we got this drunk transformation, which would probably act like Crazy Wario from Wario Land 2. Next, we got this buff transformation, which will make you able to destroy everything. Next, we got an early boxed Peppino transformation. Next, we got this Swiss cheese transformation, and there's not a lot of info about it right now. Next, we got this superhero transformation, which will make you fly anywhere and destroy metal blocks. Next, these two are just early versions of the Fireball and Pacino transformations. Next, we got the Sick transformation, which we still don't have a lot of info about right now. Oh, and also, this isn't really an unused transformation thing, but Pacino was supposed to have different hats during every single transformation. There's a total of 2 scrap levels in Pizza Tower. One of them being is Space Pinball, which is what you're seeing right now. This level is basically a combined version of Oregano Desert, Fun Farm, Fast Food Saloon, and Deep Dish 9, which this was supposed to be the 4th level in Floor 2, before Fast Food Saloon took its place. And most of the enemies and buttons in this stage got transferred to Fast Food Saloon 2. The second scrap level is the mansion. It's never really had a confirmed title. The level that you're seeing right now isn't the complete version of the mansion level. Here's the complete version of the mansion level. And I know it's concept art, but still. So in the most simplest way that I can explain it, you have to collect all of the enemies from Fun Farm, well, before they were enemies, to basically help you burn down the mansion while Vic Peppino is chasing you around. So yeah, a pretty ambitious idea. The first demo that we're going to be looking at is, well, the first one. This is the early playtest build, or Demo 0, which was released on July 15th, 2018. And just looking at it, you can already tell that there's a lot of differences. Like how belly flopping isn't part of Peppino's moveset. And you can't even grab dash or anything. All you could do is just run, jump, roll, do a super jump, and do this unused high jump like in Wario Land. Other than that, it's basically just a tutorial mixed with the first level. Next, let's talk about the things that stick out like a sore thumb. The HUD is completely different from the final game. Instead of there being a TV that shows us Peppino's emotions, it's just a disembodied head showing us Peppino's emotions with a speedometer. It's not bad, it's just weird after playing the game for so long, seeing this. Another odd thing is the toppings. They look so dead inside. Especially the pineapple, because it's not wearing sunglasses. I'm so glad that all these oddities got changed in the final game. And also, Lap 2 is so bizarre. You have to collect this Lap 2 object, and then it tells you to go back to the treasure room to collect the 200 points. Next, we got the Halloween demo, which was released on October 31st of 2018. Obviously, there's not a lot to talk about besides, well, there being Pillar John, the shotgun was added, Peppino finally getting an attack, and there was a boss. Oh, and they also had the TV, but not in the way that you think. It just displays the score. The next build that I want to talk about is the iconic Sage demo that released on September 26th, 2019, which is basically every single demo before this demo, but just better. You have 3 levels to play: Pizzascape, Ancient Cheese, and Blood Sauce Dungeon. All 3 stages have minor differences from the final game, and there's also Snick, a character that's obviously a parody of Sonic the Hedgehog. And after you beat every single level, you get introduced to Snick.exe. That's obviously a parody of Sonic.exe. And also after you beat every single level, you can play Snick's Challenge, which is basically a rush through all 3 levels while avoiding Snick.exe. And after you finish Snick's Challenge, you get to play as Snick the Porcupine himself, which he actually is really fun to play. This is a pretty good demo in my opinion. The next demo that I want to briefly talk about is the April 3rd, 2021 build. The only reason why I want to talk about this was because the HUD was greatly improved. It's way more closer to the final game, although Peppino seems a little bit jittery, which I think it's a bug. The last build that I want to talk about is the October build, releasing on October 26th, 2022, which basically is the final game. There are just a bunch of minor differences compared to the final game, but they're not huge differences. The jump scares in Don't Make a Sound are actually supposed to be 3D. The only reason why they were cut is because they want to keep the art style consistent. There are 3 scrap Peppino taunts. The promotion taunt is a reference to this frame from Adventure Sonic the Hedgehog. The Adventure pose taunt is obviously reference to the pose that Sonic does on the cover of Sonic Adventure. And this pose is reference to the standard pose of Peter Griffin. The only reason why these were cut is because Big Pig wanted less direct meme references in the game. The level Golf was never actually supposed to be a real stage. It was actually only supposed to be an April Fool's Day level. Peppino was actually supposed to have health. Only reason why it was removed was because in a fast-paced game like this, you don't want to be worried about health. Peppino actually isn't wearing an apron. He's wearing a white tank top over a black t-shirt because he can't afford a real apron. Peppino actually is a war veteran, probably participating in World War II, which explains Peppino's stressed and anxious demeanor. So yeah guys, that's basically it. Hope you all enjoyed it. This really did take me a long time to make, so I hope you guys did like and subscribe, because it helps YouTube, recommend this video so more people can see it. So yeah. And in case y'all are wondering why I didn't talk about the songs and the bosses, well, I am thinking about dedicating those sections into different videos. So yeah, stay tuned. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.